I'm here in G-High, which is a fantastic name for a place, if you ask me. Walking along the flats here of the Swampy Plain River, heading up to the start of the Hannels Spur track. It's around 7:30 in the morning, and I'm starting off on an overnight trip to Mount Townsend, the second highest mountain in Australia. The Hannels Spur track goes all the way up to Mount Kosciuszko, but I'll just be taking it to the tree line and then following the Abbott Ridge the rest of the way to Mount Townsend. I think I have a long day ahead of me. The Hannels Spur track can be quite a slog.
I'd walked this route previously the year before to get to Mount Kosciuszko. It was quite a challenge then, and I was curious to see if anything had changed.
Even though it's still officially winter and it's only 9 a.m, I'm sweating. It hasn't been too bad so far. I know that it'll get worse. There'll be trees down. The trail will be overgrown. Let's keep going.
And pretty soon, the challenge started.
It begins.
That orange triangle is a trail marker. There's beautiful walking all the way up. It's just tough in places. After a few hours hard slog, I made it to Moira's flat.
Here I am at Moira Flat. Well, just beyond actually. Filling up my water bottles in Kosciuszko Creek. It took about 5.5 hours to get here, which is pretty much what I expected. The trail was as bad as I expected, but I was prepared, so I can't complain. Maybe another 2 hours to get to the tree line, and then another couple of hours to Mount Townsend. Let's keep going.
Above Moira's flat, the vegetation gradually thins out. At around 1,700 metres, views start to appear of the western side of the main range.
There's G-High, where I started this morning. In that direction is the Abbott Ridge. Changed my plans slightly. As I started making my way up at Abbott's Ridge, the cloud came in, and since tomorrow's meant to be nice, I thought I'd set up camp and wait for the morning to summit Mount Townsend.
set out early along the ridgeline. I would reach two other peaks before Mount Townsend, Mount Dufour and Mount Abbott. The morning was windy, but otherwise fine. However, as I climbed higher, there was some cloud around the peaks, and visibility wasn't great. Then the clouds lifted, and I stood between Abbott and Townsend, mesmerised by the shadows dancing on the snow. I could now fully appreciate the scale of these peaks, and I felt a reverence for this harsh but beautiful winter environment.
I'm almost there, but it's not easy going. I can now see Mount Kosciuszko. There's Mount Kosciuszko.
I was now on the final stretch, a steep push to the summit of Mount Townsend.
I'm here on the top of Mount Townsend. It's very cloudy on the way up. And then about 10 minutes before I got here, clouds lifted, beautiful sun came out, and I have stunning views over the western fall of the main range. Truly spectacular.
I began my return the way that I'd come, along the Abbott Ridge, which included some ups and downs along the way. I could now see parts of the route that I couldn't see on the way up, like Mount Dufour here, with my track coming off the side. From here, my tent looks like a rock on the ridgeline. Can you see it? By late morning, I'd packed up camp and began the trip back down the spur.
I'm heading down now. Such a beautiful morning. I'm really glad that I didn't go to the peaks last night. That would have been too long a day. I would have had a heavy pack too, so it made much more sense to do it this way.
I now had to face the spur again, and it's not any easier in reverse. In fact, some parts may even be more difficult to navigate in that direction. But as you can see, the lower parts are lovely walking. Some 4 hours later, I was back down on the flats. After wading across the swampy plain river, I could look back at my route, from the river to the mountain and back. A challenging effort over 2 days, but a rewarding one. I took a dip in the river, then watched a ridiculous sunset. I made a fire, but before long, I was in bed. Thanks for watching.